The conference room fell silent as they announced the merger. 7 years of her designs, her late nights, her reputation on the line, all credited to him. He didn't even glance her way, but his hand under the table found the other woman's. The one wearing the necklace she'd pawned her grandmother's ring to buy him when they had nothing. If you love stories like this, subscribe now. She smiled. Let them have it all. By tomorrow, they'd own nothing. But that's not how it started. She met him in architecture school. He had vision but no discipline. She had both. Their final project, the one that won every award, that launched his career. She'd stayed up 72 hours straight, finishing it while he recovered from another party. When professors praised his genius, he never corrected them. She told herself it didn't matter. They were a team. At their wedding, his mother pulled her aside. You know he could have done better. My son is going places. Don't hold him back. She swallowed the words forming in her throat. She'd just signed away her scholarship to a prestigious firm in Milan so he could take a position here. Her dream for his opportunity. The first project came 6 months later, a luxury hotel downtown. Put your name on it too, she suggested, showing him her designs. He kissed her forehead. Clients trust established names, babe. We'll share credit once I'm settled. The hotel won International Design of the Year. His face was on every architecture magazine. Her name appeared nowhere. Why does Victoria keep calling you? She asked one night, seeing his phone light up. Again, Victoria Chen, the intern from his firm. Just work stuff, he said, not looking up. Work stuff that required calls at 11 p.m. Work stuff that made him shower before coming to bed. Their third anniversary, he forgot. She'd prepared his favorite meal, waited until the candles burned down to nothing. He came home at 2 a.m. smelling like expensive perfume she couldn't afford. Client dinner ran late. The lipstick on his collar wasn't her shade. She threw herself into work. If she couldn't have his love, she'd earn his respect. Every project that made him famous started in her sketchbook. The Riverside Complex, the museum wing, the corporate headquarters that became the city's new landmark. She worked through through her father's funeral, through the miscarriage she never told him about because he was in Paris with Victoria, calling it a business trip. We need your signature, his business partner said one morning, sliding papers across their kitchen table. It's just restructuring the firm. She signed. She always signed. Later, she'd learned she'd just transferred her 50% ownership to him. The company she'd built from nothing, while he smiled for cameras, now entirely his. At the firm's 10th anniversary gala, she watched him give the keynote speech. I built this from the ground up, with vision and sacrifice. The audience applauded. Victoria stood beside him on stage, introduced as Senior Design Director. The position should have been hers. She knew because she'd created it, wrote the job description, even conducted Victoria's interview. You look tired, Victoria said, cornering her by the bathroom. All those late nights must be hard, but don't worry, I'm helping him now. With everything. The emphasis on everything was deliberate. This dress, by the way, he has excellent taste. The dress she'd sketched for him to give his mother's birthday, Victoria wore it like a victory. She went home early, found the apartment empty, found documents in his office, dated back 3 years. Partnership agreements with Victoria, contracts with her forged signature, bank accounts she didn't know existed, drained from their joint savings, her inheritance from her grandmother, the money she'd given him to save the firm during the recession, moved to an offshore account in his and Victoria's names. The last document made her hands shake. Divorce papers, already filled out. Generous settlement, he'd probably say. The apartment, some stocks. He'd keep the firm, the reputation, everything that mattered. Attached was a note in his handwriting. Sign these, make it easy. You were never cut out for this level anyway. Victoria understands the vision. But here's what he didn't understand. She'd been planning her exit for 6 months now. If this story hits different, hit that subscribe button. You'll want to see how this ends. The meeting was in 3 days. The merger he'd been chasing for 18 months. Chen Development Corporation wanted to acquire his firm for 80 million, his crowning achievement. Victoria's father owned Chen Development. She'd known for a year, known that Victoria wasn't just sleeping with him for love, that this was a business arrangement wrapped in an affair. Daddy's money for a prestigious firm, and her husband was too blinded by ego to see he was being used too. She started making calls. Old professors who remembered her, who'd watched her talent get buried under his name. Clients who'd worked with her directly, who knew the truth about where the designs came from. The woman in Milan, the one whose scholarship she'd abandoned, now a principal at Europe's most influential architecture firm. "I always wondered why you disappeared," Sophia said over video call. "Your portfolio was extraordinary." "I got married," she said simply. Sophia's expression said everything. "Send me everything you have. Real portfolio, not whatever he's been showing under his name." She spent 3 nights pulling together 7 years of proof. Original sketches with her signature, time-stamped files, emails where she'd sent him completed designs. The museum project, dated 6 months before he claimed he'd started it. The hotel with her handwriting all over the margins. Her phone rang. Him. "Where are you?" His voice was tight. "The Chen meeting is tomorrow. I need you to play the supportive wife. Victoria thinks it'll look good," she almost laughed. "I'm at my mother's," she lied. "I'll be there." She wasn't at her mother's. She was at a law office, filing documents, not just divorce, intellectual property theft, fraud, forgery. The lawyer, a woman who'd gone through similar, worked through the night with her. "This is airtight," she said. "But are you sure? He'll lose everything." She thought about 7 years. The dreams she'd buried, the self she'd erased. "I'm sure." The night before the merger meeting, she packed. Not much. She'd learned to live with little. Most of what filled their apartment was bought with money she'd earned, designs she'd created. She took only what was truly hers, photos of her parents. Her grandmother's watch, the one thing she hadn't sold, her old sketchbooks. She left the divorce papers unsigned on his desk, added her own note. "You want easy? You never deserved easy. See you at the meeting." His calls started at midnight, 17 of them. Then Victoria's number, then his business partner. She blocked them all, slept better than she had in years. The morning of the meeting, she dressed in the suit she'd bought for her Milan interview 7 years ago. Still fit, she'd stopped eating properly somewhere around year 4, when pleasing him became more important than feeding herself. Sophia's email came at dawn. "Partnership offer standing. We want you. Contract attached. 60% more than what he'd ever paid her. Her own team. Her name on the door." The second email was from Chen Development. She'd sent them her portfolio a week ago, along with documented proof that every major project attributed to her husband was her work. "We have questions about the merger. Please attend today's meeting. Your insight is valuable." She walked into that conference room 30 minutes before the scheduled start. Victoria was already there, wearing another outfit she'd designed. Her husband looked confident, smug even, until he saw her. "What are you doing here?" His voice cracked slightly. "Chen Development invited me," she said calmly. "Apparently they have questions about intellectual property ownership." Victoria's father entered, looked at her husband, then at her. "Mr. Harrison, we've received some disturbing information about the origin of your designs. Before we proceed with an $80 million acquisition, we need clarification." She watched his face drain of color, watched Victoria's confusion turn to understanding, then panic. "There must be some mistake," he started. "No mistake," she said quietly. "Just 7 years of truth catching up." This was her design, and she was taking it back. The merger collapsed within an hour. Chen Development withdrew their offer after reviewing her documentation. Her husband tried damage control, claimed she was bitter, unstable. But the emails spoke for themselves. The timestamps, the original files. His lawyers advised settlement. She didn't want settlement. She wanted what was hers. The intellectual property lawsuit moved forward. 3 months of legal warfare. His reputation crumbled as industry publications picked up the story. Acclaimed architect built career on wife-stolen designs ran on the front page of Architecture Digest. Clients started pulling contracts. His firm bled money trying to produce work without her. Turns out Victoria's design skills were as real as her love for him. The projects they delivered were mediocre at best. One client sued for breach of quality standards. She didn't watch his fall. She was too busy building her own rise, Milan welcomed her like she'd never left. Sophia became more than a colleague. She became the friend she'd needed 7 years ago. The firm gave her freedom she'd forgotten existed. Her first solo project, a sustainable housing complex, won preliminary awards before breaking ground. "He's been calling," her lawyer mentioned during a check-in. "Wants to talk." "About what?" "He claims he loved you, that he made mistakes, but you were always partners." She remembered the miscarriage, how she'd bled alone in their bathroom while he toured Paris with Victoria, how he'd never noticed the weight she lost, the light that died in her eyes. Tell him partnership requires respect. He can save his words for the deposition. The final settlement came through 8 months after that conference room meeting. She won full rights to every design created during their marriage. He retained nothing but his name, and even that was tarnished. The firm dissolved. Victoria left him 2 weeks after the money dried up. Apparently her father had other plans for her. She heard through former colleagues that he tried to start over. But architecture is a small world, and reputation is everything. No one wanted to work with a man who'd stolen his wife's genius for 7 years. Her mother asked once if she felt guilty. "He lost everything because of you." "No," she corrected. "He lost everything because of him. I just stopped letting him take mine." The housing complex opened to international acclaim. Her name, her vision, her legacy. The mayor called it transformative. Architecture schools added it to their curriculum. She stood at the ribbon cutting, surrounded by a team who respected her in a career she'd built honestly. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, then saw the message. "I'm sorry. I see it now. What I destroyed. You were always the architect. I was just the face. I loved you, in my broken way. I hope someday you can forgive me." She read it twice, felt nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, just emptiness where he used to live in her chest. She deleted it without responding. Forgiveness wasn't for him, it was for her, and she'd already given herself that gift by walking away. That night she had dinner with Sophia and the team. Wine flowed, laughter came easy. Someone toasted her vision. She smiled. Not the performative smile she'd worn for 7 years. A real one. She'd stopped being his shadow, stopped being anyone's second choice. The life she was building now had no room for ghosts, and that was the greatest design she'd ever created.